Welcome, all you well-fed children of the internet. It is I, your favorite North Korean, and today we're going to be diving deep into the depths of Cisco's private collection.
Before we get started, I'd like to remind you to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. If you enjoy watching our content, show us some love by liking the video, and ring the bell to make sure you get notified whenever we drop new content. We appreciate you all.
Yes, welcome everyone back to another episode of Cisco's private collection. Although I seem to look like Cisco without the facial hair or the excessive weight, I promise you it is still a very vital piece to his collection. Today we're going to be looking at a DMR build, my custom Classic Army SR25. So when I first started out playing Airsoft in my 10 plus years of experience, I actually started out playing or building a DMR. And yes, Cisco, it was an M4.
What? Excuse me?
Yeah.
An M4 what?
M4 DMR. Hey,
No, hey, SPR.
Everybody was 15 at one point.
Yeah.
Come on.
Disgusting.
Anyways, I started playing a DMR SPR, as Cisco would say, out on the field because the fields that I was playing at were very linear and also very long-range engagements were very common. And since then, afterwards, when I started playing more CQC or more tighter fields, I started gravitating more towards short barreled rifles and even SMGs at a certain point. And as of recent years, I've started to kind of come back to the DMR style of play. The base gun for this build is the Classic Army SR25/M110. I believe they engraved the trademarks over here. Very nice. And I selected this because it has all the creature comforts that I desire, such as an ambidextrous fire selector, ambidextrous bolt release, ambidextrous magazine release. It also has the ECS MOSFET as well as a micro switch trigger, which is very, very clicky. Actually, the real truth is, for the longest time, I actually did have a VFC 417. It was actually really good. It had a nice paint job to it and everything. And one day, our head tech Taylor made it disappear. And suddenly, I had an SR25. So that's the real reason why I got this SR25. You know what? I really miss the 417, man. It was such a cool gun.
Wait, you're telling me that Taylor just made it disappear, and then suddenly you have an SR25?
Well, the way he described it was a trade.
But he traded your gun.
It was a trade. In traditional fashion, I'm going to go to tip to butt of the external build. So starting up at the very front, I have the PTS Battle Comp, and I love the PTS Battle Comp just because it looks so aggressive, and it kind of makes you like a subtle flex on the field. You know, it's a little different than your typical M4 birdcage. And on the rail system, I have chosen the Airsoft GI G4 M-Lock rail system. Very familiar looking, if you catch my drift. And wait. Is this rail gap? Wait, when did I have rail gap on this thing? What is this?
Well, you do realize you shoved a M4 rail onto an SR25.
But I thought it's like the same, right? Like the M4 SR25, like you could put the same rails on, right?
No.
Anyway, on the rail system itself, I've attached the Vism M-Lock rail covers. Now, I had no idea these existed, and when they first came in, I just had to get them. They're very clean looking, not very intrusive on the overall rail system. I like the M-Lock rails just because of how slim they are, and you're able to get that nice C-clamp grip on there. And the problem with running rail covers a lot of the times is they're pretty bulky and they can kind of get up in your mojo. However, with the Visms, they're very low profile. You don't need any tools to get them on or off. And they come in your nice tactical Neapolitan, I believe, even with the gray, which I was actually very tempted to pick up. And most importantly, they have this nice golf ball texturing to keep your hand in place. Now, underneath the rail system, I have this nice little Frankenstein foregrip situation going on here. And what I have here is a piece of the Magpul M-Lock hand stop over here and the AIM Sports vertical foregrip here on the bottom. Now, the reason why I chose this weird amalgamation is just because I like having a very consistent reference point, and it just kind of just wedges my hand comfortably enough to where I'll get the same point every time. And also, I like to use this piece of the hand stop to kind of use as a barricade stop because I'm not running a bipod, and I don't really like bipods just because it always kind of tempts me to stay in one place all the time, and they're very front heavy, ruins the balance of the gun. Moving down towards the main body of the gun, I have attached a Vism short dot scope. I believe it's a 1 to 4 times zoom scope, and it's probably one of my most favorite and the best performing optics I've used in Airsoft. The eye box is really clean. It's a really great eye box. One of the problems I have with a lot of Airsoft or low-end real steel scopes is that the eye boxes are very small. However, with the Vism, they've really hit the ball out of the park with this one, and I'm able to just move my head relatively freely and still get a really good sight picture. It's almost as good as a Vortex, dare I say. But yeah, it's definitely out there, and has an illuminated reticle, which I don't really use, but it's there, it's nice to have. And I mounted it to a Lancer Tactical SPR quick detach scope mount. And I have a mishmash of different iron sights here. I have like a TAC-9 front sight and a Classic Army stock rear sight. I don't really use iron sights with my DMRs, so it's just on there for looks. And towards the bottom of the body, I have the TAC-9 pistol grip. Again, a very familiar looking pistol grip. And on the very rear, I have the Sentinel Gears Warrior stock. And again, very familiar. Finally, the magazine of choice for me is going to be the G&G SR25 mags. And I know for a lot of SR25 owners out there, we are pretty limited as to what kind of mags we can run, just because we only have like the metal, the GI looking standard Stanag SR25 mags, and that's just about it. Or unless you're very, very lucky and are able to still hold on and maintain those early PTS Magpul SR25 mags, which if you do, DM me. But for now, this is a very close second for me. I love how tight it fits into the mag well, especially for a precision weapon like a DMR. I don't want a lot of mag wobble, and it has this nice like little feeder follow thing that just pushes right on through. It feeds every last BB, which I think, again, very important because I'm not running any old BB through here. I'm running, 0.43 sniper BBs, so they're expensive, and I want every round to count. And of course, most importantly, it looks really great. It looks cool. It has like this nice like waffle design, and come to think of it, I might try to stipple it later in the future.
What?
Come on, man, stipple mags.
It's a mag,
but they're cool. It looks cool when you stipple a mag.
Okay, we're gonna talk after this. What do you have? Is that a rubber band? What do you have on your stock?
Oh, this thing right here?
Yeah.
That is a Milsom West tourniquet. So it's a fake tourniquet, and you use it at Milsom West games to like revive dead players, and it's free. It's included with the price of admission, so it's pretty cool.
All right then.
Yeah. So if Taylor decides not to hog the role of a DMR every time we go out in squads, maybe I'll have the chance to run this and use it. Internally, our tech department at Airsoft GI has really built this thing out like a tank. So starting off with the gear set, we have the Siege Tech 20-to-1 19-tooth gears, the Classic Army Full Metal Rack SR25 piston, Nemesis bore-up compression set, an M130 spring, Classic Army 25K motor, a short stroke trigger mod, an FLT 9mm bushings, and we just left the Classic Army ECS MOSFET stock because it's good. For the barrel and hop-up setup, I have an R-hopped Prometheus barrel, a modified flat hop hard bucking, as well as just a stock Classic Army pop-up unit because it's rotary. That's all you really need. Keep in mind, the Classic Army SR25 does not use a completely standard version 2 gearbox. It is slightly different spec as dimensions wise, so it's not going to be like a G&G SR25 or some other manufacturers out there that just use a regular M4 gearbox. So if you are planning on picking up a Classic Army SR25, or if you have one already and looking to upgrade, I would recommend making sure that you have parts that are specifically made for this gun. Or if not, go ahead and check out our Airsoft GI tech department. They do some absolutely fantastic work, and they always build out our guns like absolute tanks. So go ahead and just check them out. I believe also on our website you can also add or order a tech service as well. All that internal work, all that blood, sweat, and tears Taylor poured into what was supposed to be my 417 adds up to 500 FPS with 0.20 gram BBs.
Wait,
what?
1
round per second.
What? 500 FPS? What the heck, dude?
I mean, with a 4.4 gram BB, it brings it down to like 380 maybe.
Yeah, but that's still a 0.40 gram, 43 you said?
Yeah.
Gram? Oh my goodness.
Okay, but hear me out. Just 1 round per second, though.
Wait, why only 1 round a second?
Oh, I had to semi-lock the gun because I'm not allowed to go full auto with this thing.
Is there a delay? You can shoot faster than 1 BB a second.
Well, yeah, but I do, but only to those people who deserve it. So call your hits. I can see you. Now, if you listened to me in the past before, I am a very big proponent of somebody who will buy a high-end gun and just leave it bare bones stock, just because of the fact of reliability, warranty issues, and whatnot. I just don't really like tinkering around with guns that much anymore. However, this gun, the Cisco 25 itself, was an exception for me. Well, mostly just because Taylor already kind of built it out as like an apology gift for involuntarily trading my 417, but that's besides the point. But the main reason as to why, again, I love this gun the way it's built out is because of the R-Hop Type 4 barrel combination. And I know in the recent years, airsoft companies have been making a lot of great steps forward as to already implementing what we would call upgrade parts in the past and making them standard. For example, you have companies like Lancer Tactical, KWA, Classic Army that put Type 4 barrels and rotary style hop-ups already in the box, in the package as is. However, for long guns like this, SR25s or snipers, I believe that a lot of manufacturers, they should still continue to innovate, you know, put R-hops, put flat hop buckings in there out of the box just to give you that extra edge, the extra precision, and the longevity of the gun. And since we don't have that right now, you know, this is the best we got. And for all of you guys that are looking into getting into DMR style of play or sniper roles on the field, I would highly suggest looking into an R-hop or a flat hop installation into your gun, which can be provided at airsoftgi.com. So the overall philosophy of the SR25 that I built out is focused on mobility. And so I'm not running a bipod over here, and what I see a lot of times on the field, whether it's inexperienced players or veteran players alike, is that if they're running something specialized like a DMR or let's say an LMG, is that they'll set up their bipod and they'll sit there and set up shop and try to get as many kills as possible. However, in my experience, just like in video games and in Warzone, you don't want to peek the same angle twice. A lot of times, other players, they're going to start looking for you. You kill them once, fine, they're going to respawn and then start looking for you. And so for me, I'm always about shooting, moving, finding another avenue of approach, finding another angle, finding another lane to block off, and basically just be as annoying as possible on the field. And most importantly, the easiest kills are those that are not shooting at you, those who aren't looking. So again, call your hits, guys. I can see you. So we got the Classic Army SR25 at 2018 when Taylor woefully sequestered my 417. And it was already pre-built out, again, just as a big ol' apology from him. And he built it out even more in 2019 when I persuaded him, let's say, to help me out even further. And in 2020 was when I bought the Vism short dot and the Vism rail covers. So that makes it technically 2 years, but officially 1 year. So it's sort of like one of those weird college relationships when you've been together for 2 years, but official for 1. Thank you, my delicious children, for visiting once again into the annals of Cisco's private collection. And it is my deepest desire for you guys to take some inspiration, or maybe some ideas, and implement them into your own collection of airsoft weapons. This is Boaz from Airsoft GI, and we'll see you next time on Cisco's private